So I'm going to talk about the Beers list. It was published in 1991, and it basically talked about how certain medications are more dangerous for the elderly and you must kind of avoid them. So usme benzodiazepines have a high ranking. And they say that you have cognitive impairment that happens because of benzo use. You remember the anterograde amnesia that we were talking about? So because of that, that makes you more prone to falls, more fractures, and therefore death, and therefore it must be avoided at cost. So in certain exams like MRC Psych, the Beers list was asked, and it was asked what did they kind of measure. So it's a list of medications that are harmful for the elderly. We go on to individual benzodiazepines. सबसे high potency वाला से शुरू करते हैं. Alprazola, short acting, high potency, very lipophilic, so easily enters the brain. And because it easily enters, addiction potential is more. Binds very tightly, rebound, anxiety if you stop it, withdrawal is more. It has a short half-life amongst, if you look relatively compared with other benzos, so 6 to 27 hours, and the recommended dose varies. So usually you would want 2.25 to 0.5 milligram and you dose it 3 times in a day. So usually for most anxiety disorders, the dose would range from 0.5 to 4. Panic disorder may you can go up till 6 milligrams per day. If you suddenly stop it, of course, you are more prone to withdrawal symptoms. So very careful with Alprazola. We go on to then clonazepam. If I have like this timeline of potency, on one end is Alprazolam, very potent. In between comes lorazepam, less potent than Alprazolam, but amongst these three, clonazepam will be the least potent. Remember, it's not the least potent benzo, but amongst these three, this is the least potent because lipophilic kam hai. And because it is less lipophilic, okay, because it is less lipophilic, so withdrawal reactions, addiction potential is lesser than Alprazolam. It's a GABA A receptor agonist, of course, but even a serotonin agonist. As I said, low lipophilicity. Panic disorder mein it's dose BD. The dose in, unlike Alprazolam, is not TID but BD. And seizure disorder mein you can also use it for less than 20 milligram till 20 milligram. We usually don't give it for seizure disorder, but if you have to, this is what you would give. Alright. So we go to lorazepam, high potency benzo. What you should remember is that it does not undergo phase 1 reaction in liver. So CYP not involved. It goes directly to phase 2. And I told you this is important with people who have hepatic insufficiency. तो उसमें वो lot benzos जो मैंने बोला है, that is very very important, undergoes direct glucuronidation. It is one of the benzodiazepines that has multiple routes of administration, sublingually, good, IV, good, intramuscularly, smooth uptake. It's also used for alcohol withdrawal. And the way you usually should do it, if you're looking at symptom-triggered approach, is 2 milligram every 6 hours and then 1 milligram every 6 hours. You can give 4 doses here, give 8 doses here. If you give anxiolysis ke liye, you start with maybe 2 to 3 milligram per day in divided doses, but it should not exceed 10 milligram. Another important test or another important use for lorazepam is the lorazepam challenge, which we use in catatonia, and we use it bedside also, isn't it? Catatonia, I don't need to kind of go into what is the presentation. Negativism, mutism, ambivalence, decreased oral intake, okay, decreased blink rate, all of that is there. So lorazepam challenge is when you want to differentiate if this is truly catatonia and truly secondary to psychiatric etiology, you give 1 to 2 milligrams of IV lorazepam, and it's almost like a miracle. The patient wakes up, and that is almost like a confirmatory test ki it is catatonia of psychiatric origin. If it is more of organic catatonia, you'll see more of sedation. So that is another thoda indirect way of understanding ki whether it's organic or not organic catatonic presentation, or even if it's whether catatonia or something else. So this is very important. We go on to diazepam, long acting, medium potency, and it has multiple effects because at low doses, it is alpha 2 selective. You remember alpha 2 is anxiolysis and myorelaxation. But when you increase the dose, even alpha 1 gets involved. So sedation, anterograde amnesia, all of that happens. It's also very important because it is available in multiple formulations. So you have oral, you have rectal, you have IV, and even intramuscular, though the absorption is not as great as that of lorazepam. And also you should know that it gives rise to multiple metabolites which have very long half-lives, like 40 to 120 hours ka bhi dimethyl diazepam hai. So overall, it's not just medium potency, it's long acting, but the metabolites also have a very long half-life. Okay. With oxazepam, again, lot antibiotic, as I said, very low fatality indexed, abuse potential, slowly absorbed and enters the brain gradually. Metabolism is what sets it apart. Temazepam, again, intermediate duration, suitable for the elderly, no need for titration. You give it 15 milligrams at night. At the max, you can give it 30 milligrams at night. Okay. What do you do with a benzo overdose? A, you give flumazenil, and it only acts on benzo or Z drug overdose. It does not act if the body does not produce any endogenous benzodiazepines. No? So, if you are not addicted to benzodiazepines, then it will not have any effect. If you are chronically addicted to benzodiazepines, then giving flumazenil can precipitate seizures, and it is a black box warning for the same. Okay. How do you give? What is the dose you give? You give 0.2 milligram IV, wait 30 seconds. Then you give 0.3 milligram IV, wait 30 seconds. Then you give 0.5 milligram IV, wait 30 seconds and repeat till a maximum of 5 milligram total. And if free sedation occurs, then this is the protocol that you follow. Then we go on to the so-called Z drugs. And they're called because all of them start with the Z. So zopiclone was kind of first approved in the NHS, and uske baad you have zolpidem, zaleplone and S-zopiclone. The name suggests it's an isomer of racemic. So zopiclone is a racemic mixture. S-zopiclone, S isomer is S-zopiclone. Okay. What is the mechanism of action? Same as benzodiazepine. But what is very important is that zopiclone and S-zopiclone are alpha 1 plus alpha 2 non-selective binding to both of them. So it will have sedation, anxiolysis plus myorelaxation, all of that. But zolpidem and zaleplone are more selective for alpha 1. So only used for sleep. Okay. Even among zopiclone versus S-zopiclone, this is more selective for alpha 1. But S-zopiclone, if you compare these two, then more selective for alpha 2 as well. So overall, more selective is zolpidem and zaleplone, then comes zopiclone, then comes S-zopiclone. So S-zopiclone also binds to alpha 2 as well.